This video is sponsored by Outplayed. I can't believe Danny has COVID. Without Sub Replay Friday, how am I supposed to show off this incredible game in which I open Rite of Aramasir and Branded Opening and then lose to Generator? There's just no way for me to get these sick plays out to the people. Oh no, wait. Introducing Outplayed. Outplayed allows you to save your favorite gaming moments by recording your whole session in the background, then allowing you to clip highlights using their easy-to-use editor. Share with your friends or share online to YouTube, Discord, or anywhere else. Best of all, it's compatible with over 300 games, including Master Duel and Duel Links. No matter if you're a streamer or just a casual, their knowledge base and ideas portal is sure to get your creative juices flowing. Download it for free using the link in my description.
Hey everybody, welcome to my Fur Hire combo video. Today I'm going to be showing you some of the ins and the outs of the combos that this deck is capable of doing. So you want to begin with any Fur Hire. Here we've got Sadie Lady Fur Hire. And then you're going to activate her effect in order to add an additional Fur Hire monster to your side of the field. And then after you've done that, you can activate that monster's effect to add an additional Fur Hire monster to your side of the field. Then after that, you're going to activate its effect in order to add another Fur Hire monster to your side of the field. You've got one more zone, so you can add one more Fur Hire monster to your side of the field. Now you're going to link off. Sadie, can you link off real quick? Good. And then you're going to put additional Fur Hire monster on the field using the effect of your link summoned monster. And then you can use that monster to put one additional Fur Hire monster on your side of the field. Now, you can go in a couple of different directions from this position. I like to make one tiny utility Fur Hire monster at the very end of the combo.
Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka NBT, back with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. I had hoped to spend this week making content about how the new ban list impacted the top decks, but who knows when that's coming out. Maybe they're waiting for the Masochist ban list tournament? Anyway, without the ability to do that, we're gonna have to settle for dabbling with the new Dabble decks. And first on the list is furries. So here's the list. If you're unfamiliar with a lot of the cards on screen right now, cherish this moment. It won't last forever. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. With that, let's fiddle with Fur Hire. Fur Hire is maybe the most frequently hated series of monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Period. First, they were hated for breaking problem-solving card text for the sake of a pun. Next, they were hated because they were too bad to be competitive. After that, they were hated for being too competitive in Duel Links. And finally, they were hated for the same nebulous reasons that Reddit types have always hated furries. They're, like, cringy, but in a different way than everyone on Reddit is cringy, I guess. Each one of these monsters for hire shares an effect. During your main phase, they allow you to special summon another monster for hire from your hand to the field. After that, each one has an additional effect, which ranges from negates to extension to searches to pops. Despite their varied forms of interaction, the fact that you had to draw the right ones in the right situation confined them to table 621 where they belonged. Until recently. About a year ago, Daddy, Folgo, Justice for Hire released, and God, I wish it really was just us. Anyway, this card changed everything. Suddenly, you could get the mercenary you needed out of your deck and potentially draw a few cards on the way there. Since it's technically generic, for a short time this card was splashed in decks like Eldritch, who could get consistent use out of its Pop Plus, but clearly something was still missing. Folgo was too resource intensive to be worth it without the draw 3, and the Fur Hires didn't have the main deck chops to follow up. Dabble changes that by doing what Kanye couldn't and releasing Donna. This semi-generic Link 2 allows you to cycle into multiple monsters for hire, enabling setups that all but guarantee that Folgo fetches you 3 cards, all done under negates in Wiz and Rafal. It's like Heat Soul Turbo on steroids, and you get to do it while really sticking it to all those weirdos who made hating furries their personality in 2013. Guilty as charged. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First up, the 3 ofs. We've got 3 Beat Bladesmen for hire. Of course, you can special summon a monster for hire from your hand, and if a monster is special summoned while you control this monster, you can add a monster for hire from your deck to your hand. After that is Philo. This is a piece of legacy support that allows you, when a monster for hire is summoned to your side of the field, target a Fur Hire in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, but put it at the bottom of the deck if it leaves the field. Finally, we have a new card from Dabble. This is Rex Cargo for hire. This is actually missing the effect that allows you to perform an additional special summon, but that's fine because you can add a spell or trap for hire from your deck to your hand on normal or special, including several that extend you. During the main phase, if you control a monster for hire, as a quick, you can banish this from the graveyard, target a card for hire in your graveyard, add it to your hand, or if it's a monster, special summon it instead. This triggers Dampa, Marksman for Hire, of which we are playing 2. During your main phase, you can special another one, of course, but also if a monster for hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, you can target a face-up card on the field and destroy it. This is fantastic for getting your Folgo to trigger. After that, we've got 2 copies of Rafal. This card, if special, can excavate the top card of your deck equal to the number of monsters for hire you control with different names and add one of them to your hand. It does not have to be a for hire, so can add a hand trap. After that, if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can discard a card for hire to negate the activation. Wiz, on special summon, gains you life points, and that's time in the round. And of course, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or effect, allows you to discard a card for hire to negate that as well. Dyna is, I believe, still limited in Duel Links to this day. If it's special summoned, you can banish cards from your opponent's graveyard up to the number of monsters for hire you control with different names, and monsters your opponent controls cannot attack monsters for hire you control except for Dyna. Finally, we are on one piece of Seal, Strategist for hire, whose special ability allows you to, if a monster is summoned to your side of the field, target a monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand, and Recon, which if a monster you control is special summoned, you can target a set card on the field and destroy it. After that, we've got the Bistids, 2 of Magnumut. This allows you to target a light or dark monster in either player's graveyard, banish it, and special summon this card from your hand. And if your opponent controls a monster, this is a quick effect. If it's special summoned, during the end phase of this turn, you're going to be able to add a dragon monster from your deck to your hand except itself, which is why we're also playing 1 copy of Druid Worm. Just like the other one, you can target a light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it. It's a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster, and if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, target an opponent's special summoned monster, send it to the graveyard as well. After that, we've got the actual hand traps, 3 Valor, 3 Nibiru, and 3 Ash Blossom. We're playing 1 for 1. We have, of course, Philo as our target, but it's just really good to have pieces of extension in order to play through targeted effect negation, 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity, 2 Rookie for hire, which allows you to tribute a monster to special monster for hire from your hand or deck whose level is 1 higher or 1 lower than the monster had on the field, and you can't declare attacks the turn you activate this card, but no big deal. Your for hire monsters can still clear. Then after that, 2 Mayhem for hire, which is just a quick play reborn. Of course, it has a hard once per turn on it, but who cares? We're playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, and now the extra. We've got, of course, the Zeus, the Downward Magician, and the Gigantic Spright. This is because we can very easily make Spright Elf. We are playing a significant amount of 2s. We are on Zeroboros, access code Talker, Apollosa, Folgo Justice for hire, Nightmare Unicorn, Double Donna, 1 Tri-Brigade Farigit the Baron Blossom, 1 Linkaribo, 1 Masquerena, and of course 1 Almirage as well. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against Branded Eldritch Adventure, from that weird period in which people were just jamming Adventure and Branded into absolutely everything they could. We've opened really well. Let's begin with a copy of Philo. We'll activate the effect in order to summon from our hand a copy of Rafal. We'll reveal off the top of our deck. Oh my god, a beat. Okay, that was pretty good. We'll go for Donna, then activate Mayhem in order to bring back the Philo and make a copy of Linkaribo, so we contribute that instead of the Donna. We'll summon the Beat and the Rafal, then we'll trigger the effect of the Beat in order to add from deck to hand a copy of Rex. We'll activate Beat in order to bring out Rex, then activate Rex's effect in order to grab a Rookie, the spell that we haven't cycled through this turn. We will go ahead and tribute that copy of Beat to go for a Dampa, and then afterwards we'll trigger the effect of the Dampa to summon the Dyna in our hand, make a copy of Folgo, use Folgo's effect in order to summon a Wiz from deck, gain some life points, and pass back to our opponent. Now this looks innocuous, but it's absolutely everything we want. Our opponent's grip is fantastic, but it won't be enough. They're going to begin with a copy of Rite of Aramis. We're going to let that resolve because boy oh boy is Fateful Adventure a good Dampa hit. We're going to go for the effect of the Rex in graveyard here in order to special summon Rafal. That's going to trigger the effect of the Dampa. They'll activate Fateful Adventure, we'll chain Dampa, and then we'll activate the effect of the Rafal as well. They're going to activate a Legal Knight, but I think I can let that resolve. That's completely fine. We find off the top, oh my god, a hand trap. Let's just grab the Nibiru just in case, and then of course we'll resolve the Folgo to draw 3. Our opponent's going to go for the Branded Fusion, we'll negate with the Wiz, and then they are forced to just set a couple of cards, eat our Magnamut, and then of course concede. For our second match, I'll be holding a mirror to this twisted world we call society. Why is it fair that furries are consistently regarded as sick in the head when my opponent is allowed to enter an Edo Pro lobby with Sky Striker True Draco? Doesn't that strike you as ironic? We're going first, and our hand is incredible. We're going to begin with a copy of Seal. Seal is going to activate an oh god targeted negation. Well, we got to find an extender off this Pot of Prosperity. Let's find off the top. Oh, thank God. Okay, 1 for 1, we'll do it. We're going to go ahead and grab that 1 for 1, and then we're going to fire it off. That's going to summon from our deck a copy of Philo. We're going to pitch this copy of Dyna, and then trigger the effect of the Philo in order to summon from our hand a copy of Rex. From here, we can use Rex in order to grab a Rookie for hire, then we'll fire it off, pitching this Seal in order to go into Beat. Here we can trigger the effect of the Philo in order to summon back Seal, and trigger the effect of the Beat in order to add from deck to hand a Dampa. We'll go into Folgo for 3. We'll activate the effect of the Folgo in order to summon a Rafal. Rafal. Let's go ahead and activate the effect of the Rafal in order to find off the top. Okay, a Prosby for next turn before activating Beat to summon the Dampa, activating Rex in order to reset this copy of Rookie and passing back to our opponent. Our opponent's going to begin with a copy of Jamming Waves. This is really bad. We're going to have to go for the Rookie a little prematurely here to get a copy of Rex from our deck, and then a Resolution will trigger the effect of the Rex and the effect of the Dampa in sequence in order to pop it. We'll go ahead and get this copy of Mayhem, and our opponent's going to normal summon Ray and go to battle. We'll negate the effect of the Ray with the Rafal, but they have the Widow Anchor as well. This is going to allow them to go into Hayate, and yep, we are actually playing a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Here. They're going to send a copy of Ngache. Please ban this card again, Konami. You can do it at any time. Just hit that release button. They're going to go for the Engage to grab another Widow Anchor, then use it to grab Folgo. Oh, did you think you were making Zeke with my monster that can't be used as link material? All right, we're able to activate at the end of the main phase the effect of the Rex and Graveyard in order to summon Dinah and remove the Sky Striker Ace Ray from our opponent's graveyard, and now it should be a hop, skip, and a jump to lethal. We'll go for the Wiz here in order to gain 1,000,000 life points. Then in main phase 1, we'll make a copy of Donna, use the effect of the Donna, tributing herself to get a Dampa and a Rafal. We'll trigger the effect of the Dampa in order to destroy our opponent's monster. They'll trigger the effect of the Effect Veiler in order to negate it, but we can negate it with Rafal as well. That Effect Veiler goes down. We are able to add from deck to hand a very powerful card in Bisted Magnamut, and then we will destroy our opponent's Shizuku, draw 3, normal summon a monster, go for Elf, and then realize that actually I have missed lethal there. Unfortunate, but I think we are still in such a commanding position that we can't possibly lose. We'll go ahead and set that Infip in the same column as our opponent's last remaining card. They'll draw for turn, and nice one. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's playing Spright, and they're playing a lot of the new tools the deck has received in Dabble. Let's see how much it matters. Our hand is pretty good. We're going to begin with the copy of Pot of Prosperity for 6. Let's find off the top. I guess we're taking the 1-for-1. Just pays to have an extender, especially in scenarios like this where we go for Philo and get infipped. Okay, no big deal. We can activate the 1-for-1 pitching the Magnamut in order to summon from deck a copy of Philo. This is a little crusty because it's the same name twice. We're going to go for Donna here. We'll activate Donna's effect to bring back Philo and summon a Rafal. We'll activate Rafal and Philo summoning back Philo, and then we have to go into a Linkaribo again because otherwise we don't have the material to make this work. Our opponent has a DD Crow, and now we have to pitch the Rex off the Rafal in order to ensure that resolves so we actually end on Folgo, but for our efforts, we do get to end on Folgo plus Dampa, which is still full combo. We'll pass back to our opponent, and that is literally the best draw on their deck. Oh my god. They're going to go Rite of Aramis here into a copy of Wandering Griffin Rider. Otherwise, we could have cut it off them with the effect of the Dampa, but we will go for it anyway because we need to draw some cards. We'll special summon our Rafal. We'll activate the effect of the Dampa and the Rafal in sequence, chain blocking the Dampa so they can't negate it with the Griffin Rider. They will negate the effect of the Rafal here, and we will be able to destroy the Fateful Adventure in order to draw a singular card off of Folgo. Next, they're going to go for a Swap Frog in order to send a Ronin Totem and make a Sprite Sprint. Thankfully, the card we drew is Ash Blossom. Should be the end of the turn, except the Sprite cards are not particularly fair, and they can overlay a Link 2 for a Gigantic Sprite in order to go into blue, blue into Jet, and Jet into their new trap card, which I don't think we have any possible way of beating. Okay, well, Double Cross is in hand, and our board is completely clear, but there's still some draws that maybe put us in a favorable position. They're going to go Elf, bring back this copy of Nimble Beaver, and end on a Pit Knight early of all things. They'll set 1 and pass back to us. We draw for turn. It's a Magnamut again. We'll activate the effect, banishing a Magnamut, and then I guess we'll fire off the Prosby for 3. We've only got 3 cards in the extra deck anyway. Let's find off the top. Okay, we haven't normaled, so we can go ahead and get this Rex. We'll normal the Rex, and then trigger the Rex in order to grab from deck to hand a copy of Rookie for Hire before going into Donna. They're going to activate Elf here. We're going to chain Rex in order to get Rafal. They'll chain Double Cross to summon our Rafal out of the graveyard, blanking the effect of the Rex and allowing them to use early to negate our Donna's effect. Okay, let's go to game 2, I suppose. So it's time for game 2, and oh, this hand is a stinker. Seals in here is a name, and Rafal is not a card you want to open 2 copies of. We're going to activate the effect of Rafal, and hand trap off the top. Love the extra card, don't love that it's not a Fur Hire. We can go into Donna in order to cycle from Seal and Rafal into Seal and Rafal. We'll add back the Rafal, go for IP Masquerena, and then end on a Magnamut and a potential Nightmare Unicorn. It's not ideal. We'll pass back to our opponent, and this hand is not fantastic. They're going to go for a Nimble Beaver. We can Ash here, and we're going to have to make the Hail Mary play of going into a Nightmare Unicorn and just hoping they don't have another 2 or an extender. Thankfully, they do not. They're going to go for a Smashers here, banishing this Double Cross in order to get this Nightmare Unicorn off our side of the field, but they'll pass back to us. We have to draw any starter, and all right. Our opponent draws for turn. That will do it. They're going to go for a Wandering Griffin Rider and then follow it up with a copy of Nimble Beaver. Nimble Beaver is going to summon from deck another copy of Nimble Beaver. Then they can special summon a copy of blue, activate blue for Jet, summon Jet, and well, hold on. If we go Valor here, they're not going to have follow-up, and after Resolution, we can Nibiru to eat the entire board. We get one more shot at drawing any starter off our deck, and what do you know? The top card of our deck is actually a Dompa. So we should be able to do this from this position. We're going to normal summon the Dompa and then go into a Donna. We're going to activate the effect of the Druid Worm to remove the token, then go for the Donna in order to summon from deck a copy of Rafal and a copy of Rafal. We'll activate the effect of the Rafal in order to grab, a Philo off the top of our deck. That's incredible. Dompa's going to summon the Philo, and we'll go for a Folgo. We're going to trigger the effect of the Folgo to get a copy of Rex. Afterwards, we'll activate Rex's effect in order to get a copy of Rookie for hire. We'll activate Rookie in order to tag into a beat, and then afterwards we can activate the Rex in the graveyard to summon back the Philo. This triggers the beat and allows us to add from deck to hand a copy of Dinah. From here we can activate the Philo we just summoned. In order to summon the Dinah, we'll activate Dinah in order to banish a ton of cards from our opponent's graveyard, as well as the Philo to bring back another copy of Rafal, and that should be lethal. Upwards and onwards to game 3. Oh boy. So it's time for that all-important game 3, and oh my god, they've opened fantastically and we don't have a single hand trap. Although, honestly, given they have a Called by the Grave and a Triple Tactics talent in the opener, it's maybe for the best that we didn't open a hand trap. They're going to begin with a copy of Swap Frog. That's going to send from deck to the graveyard a copy of Ronin Toad, and they'll follow it up with Blue Grabbing Jet, and we are off to the races. Next, they're going to overlay for a copy of Gigantic Spright. You just get to do this with no fear, now that, of course, we have Spright Sprind. We'll go for the Swap Frog, sending a Swap Frog before making just that monster. After summoning Jet, we'll add a Double Cross to hand and make the boy. Spright Sprind is going to send from deck to graveyard a copy of Angler, which will summon from deck 2 copies of Nimble Beaver. Get used to seeing this. They'll go into a copy of Elf, activate the effect of the Elf, bring back a Swap Frog, and then activate the graveyard effect of the Ronin Toad and summoning it in order to make a Totally Awesome. They're going to set 2 cards, pass it back to us, and we draw for our 6th card, the one hand trap that might have made a difference. Okay, let's begin with the Pot of Prosperity. They will negate it with Totally Awesome, and unfortunately we don't have anything in our hand to do other than commit to the board. We're going to normal summon this copy of Beat, at which point our opponent will activate Elf in order to summon back the Totally Awesome. There's not a lot we can do here, especially because Sprind is going to eat the Beat, so let's just scoop them up. So we're back with the deck, and losing to post-Sprind Spright is a place that a lot of decks are going to end up next format. I wouldn't sweat it too much. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1. Despite having a name like a white woman jump scare, Donna is amazing. She's good going first and better going second, and can be made in a pinch with these strange extenders / hand traps that are bisted. 2, the Fur Hires are actually really good. Dompa's at a premium in a format where keeping 2s on board is an FTK, and Rafal, Wiz, and Dinah are incredibly powerful situational bosses. And 3, Wiz gains you life points on summon. I know it's kind of a necessity in 2022, but this deck does pass the time tax. And the cons. 1, targeted effect negation is really hard for you to play through. You can work with the bisted monsters, the quick plays, and the 1-for-1, but without an extender, occasionally imperm your normal ends the turn. 2, it's hard to play. You've got a lot of moving pieces, and knowing when to go for what can be very daunting, especially in the dark game 1. And 3, you're going to have to deal with those Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. The ones who make funny haha jokes about the furry agenda for 40 minutes while you beat their teeth in with Folgo. All in all, furry agenda much? Upvotes to the left, my good gentle sirs.
All right, so let me know how you feel about this combo video. Please like and subscribe for more, and hit the notification bell.